So, if you guys want to learn how to trade options, purchase my ebook located at worldly41.gumroad.com. And basically, how did I make $5,126 trading Apple puts? So, basically, the market was closed today. I'm just going over an old trade. Basically, on April 7th, let's see, April 7th. At 10:33. So April 7th, 10:33. Let's see. Seventh, 10:33. So basically, as soon as I saw Apple reach or touch the 50-day moving average, I bought a couple of options there. And basically, what happened was Apple saw a big rejection by the 50-day moving average. At one point, that candle was at 194.14. I just patiently waited to see what would happen because honestly, I knew that eventually it was just going to nosedive due to the fact that in pre-market, Apple tried going above the 50-day moving average but completely failed. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to patiently wait for Apple to approach the 50-day moving average, buy Apple put options as soon as it approaches the 50-day moving average. And once I see the rejection, I'll sell out the position. And so within that same candle at 10:41, basically that big spike was for nothing. And basically within that instant, Apple started spiking downwards. And basically when I sold out the position at 10:41, I made a gain of $5,126 trading Apple put options. So this trade was pretty short. I'm trying to remember what happened that day. I'm pretty sure it was related to tariffs, but I'm not really quite sure. And basically, I'm pretty sure it had to do something with the news, honestly. Because I was like kind of honestly surprised. I was like, okay, it looks like it's not gonna respect that 50-day previous moving average rejection, so it's probably gonna just do its something crazy. And basically, if I remember correctly, something happened in the market where it caused multiple stocks to spike, and then all of a sudden, I think it had to do with like tariffs or something about the economy, and it just caused the overall like stocks that day to tank. And so yeah, it was pretty surprising. I was like, whoa, I did not expect that. It just happened all of a sudden. So basically, the way I like to also trade in a I want to show you guys there's multiple ways that you can trade. There's you can day trade, you can swing trade, right? You can long term trade. I mean, long term, I would say that's more like leap call. Not, I guess that would be more considered leap options. So basically, leap options are basically options that expire in 6 or in a year. So basically, options that expire in 6 months or in a year. And also, I feel like there's different ways of you guys like making money from your phone. Basically, only related to the stock market / crypto market, and that is by either buying stocks or trading options. Or if you're trading crypto, right, say you're like a big guy in crypto, I feel like you can honestly rely on trading on Bitcoin. Honestly, I feel like trading Bitcoin for the long term can make you pretty good money. I took the risk to trade in Doge because I was like, I'm a risk taker. I want to see what happens. And that's why I only invested only worth like 12 or 11 grand into that Doge, because I was like, I don't want to invest a lot of money into the crypto market, because me personally, I'm still skeptical of the overall crypto market. I'm just now like dabbling a little bit into the crypto market because I feel like what's 12 or 15 grand if it goes down the drain. Like, to me, that's nothing for me, honestly. But, you know, it's just like, I'm like, okay, I'll take the risks. Let's see what happens. And basically, when I started trading crypto, I started with just trading only Bitcoin, and that worked pretty good in my favor. Until then, I was like, okay, what happens if I just take the risk and just start trading other cryptocurrencies? I traded Ethereum, I traded Solana, I think those are the only other two cryptocurrencies I traded at that moment. And basically, I was just like, let me see what happens if I, start, I guess you could say investing, but more so trading Doge. And at one point, it was like, okay, it's doing pretty good and whatnot, whatever. But I think I got too cocky, and so when that, when the overall crypto market started, going down, I was just like, okay, I think I got a little too carried away. I was like, maybe I should have sold, like how I would do in the stock market, sell out the position, go on and move on to the next trade. So I got a little too cocky there. So personally, so the way I would do it, right? So let's say, I don't know. Let's say you don't want to touch options. Let's say you're a safe guy. You're like, okay, I have 10 grand. I'd rather, instead of blowing it up on options, I'd rather, blow it on stocks, right? Here's the number one thing I would do. So personally, I would only invest into mega cap stocks. And what mega cap stocks are is that basically those are stocks that are, been around for a really long time. That would be, like the Magnificent Seven, IBM, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, I guess Wells Fargo, etc. Right? I don't think Wells Fargo is a mega cap stock, but I could be wrong. But for example, I showed you guys not an option list, but a April list that you guys could add to your own little watch list. You could decide to either buy shares, buy options, whatever you want to do, right? Not based off what I'm telling you, but basically I gave you guys a April list of stocks that I'm personally watching myself. That is Apple, Bank of America. It looks like, so yeah, Bank of America is considered a mega cap stock because they're worth 282.82 billion. So these are the stocks that you kind of want to keep an eye on for, basically, that are mega cap stocks like Apple, Bank of America, Taiwan Semi, Tesla, Oracle, Salesforce, Google, Broadcom, Nvidia, Novo, UNH. Those are basically one of the prime examples of stocks that you want to take into consideration or look into. Don't look into more so into penny stocks, because penny stocks, if you those are companies that haven't been around for a long time. Those are just companies that are probably just starting up, or companies that are just like, probably they've been around but they're starting to not prove, they're starting to be proven to not be worthy. So eventually those companies will start dying, and basically they're not worth to invest in. That is, if you're I guess you could say a risk taker, then by all means go ahead. But me personally, if I were to start in the stock market, I would start by trading stocks. Then if once I got the hang of trading stocks, I would move on to trading options. But personally, it's more of a preference thing. Everybody has different adapting skills, whether it be like learning a new skill. So if you're great at learning how to trade in the stock market, by all means go ahead, choose your path, whether it be trading crypto, stock market, options, or whatever you want to learn. And basically I would honestly just start by trading mega cap stocks, moving on to moving on to options, and then now that I learn options, I can create not create, but more so use that money from what I'm making from options and invest it into stocks for the long term. So that way when I'm older, right, not having to work so hard, because now the money that I'm making from options, right, I'm investing it into high quality stocks, that is mega cap stocks. These high quality stocks, slash mega cap stocks, some of them pay dividends. What dividends are, it's like you're basically receiving a paycheck for owning a single share of that company. So for example, Apple is a prime example that pays a dividend of 25 cents per share. So let's say you own 10 shares, you're getting 25 cents per share, worth, basically you own 10 shares, you're getting 25 cents per share of those 10 shares that you own. So basically try to, I will talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, but basically that's how I would personally start, in the market. Start trading in the stock market, move on to options, and then use that option money to invest into stocks for the long term, and keep on doing that process over and over again. So that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, take care. And this is not financial advice. As always, take care. Bye.